Hey guys, so this is the first layout I made with the May 2013 Studio Calico Kit, and I'm using this paper from Glitz. It is Color Me Happy stripe, and I like that it said the who, what, when, where at the bottom there. And I have to be honest, when I opened the May kit from Studio Calico, I wasn't thrilled with the papers or the embellishments. A lot of the papers I already owned, and a lot of the embellishments like these frames here, I wouldn't have bought because it's not something I typically use in my scrapbooking. But as you know, and I've said in other videos, it was that Arrow paper from Tim and Beck that made me keep this kit. So when I pulled out this picture of my nephew William, and I said pose for the camera or smile or something like that, and he pointed and he said, I don't know, something funny. And he is hating the camera these days. He's like completely against the camera, but now instead of just frowning all the time at the camera, he's doing all these silly poses, which is actually much more fun, much funnier to me. Much more funnier. Anyway, so I decided that I wanted to layer a bunch of these frames, and I use almost the entire pack of these basic gray frames for this layout, and I'm using scraps from the previous Studio Calico kits that I had sitting on my desk just to build some pattern paper backgrounds in the back there, and I'm opening up this washi tape to use a little bit of that as well. And here you're going to see, and I had the darndest time like getting these frames to stay where I wanted them, but in the end, it turns out that I thought I was going to use this stamp, and I do use it, but then I cover most of it up because the stamping doesn't turn out as well as I would have liked. So I decided I'm going to use this border stamp because one of the things I like to challenge myself to do is to use the stamp that comes in the kit every month. So I draw this line. Yep, I'm going to draw this line here in hopes of getting my stamping straight, and you're going to see what a disaster that is. But I'm going to add some washi tape. Oh, I thought I was going to add some washi tape first. I guess not. I guess we're going to go with the stamping. So I'm using Colorbox chalk ink here in Blackbird. And I wanted to stamp this stamp sort of like a border to my pictures right along this line. And I'm sorry my head and my Oscar the Grouch t-shirt are in the way here. But you're going to see I mess the stamping up. I don't line them up exactly the way. There you go. See, there's a gap. I don't know if you can see it. But there's a gap there. And I tried to cover it back up, but it didn't work. So, live and learn. So now I'm going to try to lay these layers back down the way that I want them. But I definitely wanted to leave see, I took a picture of it to see if I could lay these layers back down the way I want them. I'm going to have to do some rearranging here. And peeling that protective film off of those transparent die cuts. I'm glad I watched somebody else use like these vellum, they're not vellum, they're like I don't know what you would call that material, these plastic see-through things. That's what we're going to go with, these plastic see-through things, because I would have never known there was a protective covering on there. So I'm glad that I watched someone else scrapbook with these first. So again, like I said, I'm just using a bunch of scraps that I had laying around from the Studio Calico kits from previous months, just to add some color to the page, because the frames are all very neutral. I mean, they do have some color on the bottom of the frames, but they're pretty neutral. So I really wanted to use. I'm using a couple of the manufacturing strips. I'm using a couple of just offcuts that I had, just to add some color to the layout. Line this all up here. And again, the trickiest part and the part that took the longest about this layout was just lining all these frames back up the way I wanted them. And then this is from the April 2013 Studio Calico kit. These Amy Tangerine rub-ons, and I actually put them in my giveaway bin because I didn't think I was ever going to use them. And then when I thought about this layout and the black and the white, and I really kind of liked them on here, so I pulled them back out of the giveaway basket and used them on this layout. So I'm going to use the chevron one there. I'm going to use the one that says "Love You to Pieces," and then a couple of the arrows that are also included in that. And I'm just looking at the embellishments that I have left over, or came in the previous kits. I'm just trimming up I actually really like the back of that glitz paper as well, but I decided to use this neutral. And then I thought I really should have extended that pattern paper all the way across just to give the whole page some color. So I added that behind the frames that I had already set. You're going to see me pull it up here. I actually pulled up that black frame because I felt like it was a little bit too much black. There's not a whole lot, except for that who, what, when, where. There's not a whole lot of black on this page, and I felt like that was really pulling the interest away from my photo. So I pulled the black frame up because I thought I'm not going to use that, and I decided to. Well, you'll see. I'll use another frame up in that corner. Just using some more offcuts and the what do you call those things? The manufacturing strips. I like that they're putting, they've been doing it for a while now, but I really like it that they're starting to put those designs on the back of those strips because now, you can use the whole piece of paper. So I'm just adding this washi tape in 2 places across the layout. Again, just to add some, you know, I wouldn't say interest to the page, but just to add some grounding, I guess, because everything is very light and kind of floaty. It's kind of floaty. So I'm going to add a small strip of gray up here because I have a small strip of gray at the bottom. And a lot of these pattern papers do show through at the end. And I like the way that these frames looked layered over top of each other. So I'm actually very happy with this layout when it came out, and I'm very happy that I found a use for these frames that actually works for me. Because I don't know if you've watched a lot of my videos or seen a lot of my layouts. I don't use Polaroid frames. I know that it's a huge thing. I just can't seem to get them to work in a layout. Maybe I'll try again. Here is so they had 2 of those like photo strip kind of frames. One was in the black and one was in this more neutral color. So I used the neutral color on this layout and I used the black one on that Daddy's Little Helper layout that I made. So, and because these transparency things are not clear, they have like they're translucent. They have actually some like gray color to them. You can't actually see the adhesive behind them, so that makes it good. Like I said, I used almost the whole pack, and the pack is gone. I'm happy to say that I took an embellishment that I never thought I would use and would have never bought myself, and actually used the whole pack, so I'm pretty happy with that. And there's the general idea of what the layout looks like. And now I'm looking at some more of these rub-ons to see if there's other pieces I want to use. And I'm going to use this phrase there that says "love you to pieces." I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put it. And then I decide I'm going to use this arrow as well. And I don't use rub-ons. Like, I think this was like the first layout that I actually like used rub-ons. I mean, I think I've used them before, like a long time ago, but they're not one of my favorite embellishments. I don't know why, but I don't typically buy them. I don't typically use them, so it was good to get some use out of them. That's one of the good things about kits is that you do get products that you typically wouldn't use. I mean, there would be none of these sort of frames in my scrapbook at all if it wasn't for the Studio Calico kit, because like I said, I would have never bought them. And same with the rub-ons. They would have never been in my book at all, except that, they came in the kit. So when I started to make this layout, I challenged myself to use them. So just rubbing some more, using that "love you to pieces" there and rubbing it on there. Oh, I got another frame. I actually don't end up using that one. I think I don't know when I used it, but it is gone. I have used it. And then I had these mistable stars from Studio Calico, and I'm going to use the skyscraper mini mist that we got with I think it was the February kit. And I'm just going to mist a few of these stars to add on the layout. And if one of my previous videos, I think it's already been posted, I used the ones that were left. And the only problem with using mists and these canvas things for me is that I'm impatient and want them to dry right now. So I turned them over and tried to get all of the mist off on this um, paper towel that I keep in my misting box. And I can't wait. It's like I gotta do it now. So I'm gonna use some pop dots and put these all. I'm gonna put these around on the layout, or so I thought. I'm gonna look through and find some word stickers to add. I have a lot of them. Oh, I need to stop buying them things. So I'm going to use that one that says unique because I feel like his posing now is very, him. It's very unique. So I'm going to use that one, and then I'm going to look through the rest of these and see. These are my mind's eye. Which ones are they? Tiny word stickers, unforgettable you are, and I'm going to use 3 of them. One says too cute for words, one says adorable, and one says funny kid. And I'm just putting them around the photo in that triangular configuration that we all know and love, I guess. Um, because just to make the visual triangle around my photo and give me a place to put the embellishment clusters. Because the whole page is an embellishment cluster, really. You know, this is a very odd. This is a very odd layout for me. It's not one that it's a very atypical layout for me. It's not my typical style, but I actually end up liking it, a lot. So I'm looking for another way to add some more color. As you can see, there's this red arrow at the bottom there, and I feel like then the layout needs some red in it. So I'm gonna pull out these things that we got a couple of. Yeah, I'm gonna add this strip. And what was cool about this strip, this teal diagonal stripe here, is it completely lined up with the yellow one above it. So I really like the way that turned out and the way that looked. You'll see me add it here. And when I lined them up and the spacing between those lines, and it may be the same manufacturer, I have no idea, but the layout, the space between those lines actually was spot on. So that turned out pretty good. Oh, please get your gray hair out of the frame. This was the day before I went and got my hair done, so the gray is gone, at least for the next 6 weeks, and then we'll have to go and hide it again. And then I'm going to use these Studio Calico stickers that came with the May kit. And I'm going to use a ton of them because I'm going to fill out my title, I guess you would say, with that who, what, when, and where. So I'm going to use my T-square ruler, and I'm going to put the who, what, when, and where on there. So the who is William, the when will be April 13th, 2013, and where is Grace's party. This was at Grace's, my niece's birthday party. And then the what is here's looking at you, because I really felt like that's kind of the expression he's got with the pointy fingers and stuff like that. So, and I really, really should have cut this out. Because you're going to watch me sit here and place letter stickers for a few minutes. And that's boring. But, what you gonna do? It takes me more time if I cut the video. So sometimes I just get lazy and don't do that. And I actually, if I had thought about it when I edited this video, I would have cut it, but I forgot. So, just adding the numbers in here, and then I'm going to add the where. And I'm holding on the what because I thought I would do the what in a different font because the what is really the title of my page, and I thought I would go get a different letter sticker to do that. But when I realized that I had enough of these letters, even though I had to mix capitals and lowercase, I decided to just go ahead and use these letter stickers for the what as well. But that's why I skipped the what and put the when and the where in, because I thought that I was going to use a different font, a different thicker. I thought I was going to use thickers for the what, but decided that since I had these, they were out and, you know, they're black and white and they match really well, that I would just go ahead and use those. I'm going to add some misting to my page, and this time I remembered to cover up my photo, which was awesome because I always forget. I don't do a lot of misting on my layouts, but I don't know why. I mean, I like the look of it. I just don't typically do it. Mostly because I typically fill up the whole page. You know, I see a lot of people who scrapbook and they, you know, they're clusters like right in the center, and they do all this wonderful layering, and it's great and it's fantastic and I love it. And I try to do that, and then my layouts still end up, you know, all over the page. So I'm going to add some lines here to make sure that my journaling isn't crooked, and then when you see the journaling at the end after I'm finished it, it's crooked anyway. So I give up. I truly give up with this whole writing. I'm using a Zig writer there in a .08. I think it's a .08 or .8 maybe. It's a very thick pen. I can't figure out, you know, those measurements for pen tips. I give up. But it is a Zig writer, so I really like them for journaling, but I prefer Sharpies. I just feel like the flow for Sharpies is better because I think it just suits my handwriting better because I tend to print and I tend to, what's the word I'm looking for? Even though I print, I tend to have my letters flow one into the other. So here you're going to see my big head, and I'm going to just add a little bit of, I felt like since I used that stamp and put those triangles in the lower right hand corner there, I thought that I needed them up in the upper right as well. And then I'm going to use some Tombow Mono Multi Glue and stick that star down because it wasn't staying. And then those are fabric stickers here. This is from the Hey You collection. I'm going to use one set of these. I'm not sure if it's the Hey Boy collection, I think. Yes, the Hey Boy collection, and they're called canvas flags, I think. And I'm just using them to pull some more turquoise color. And mostly because there's this gap where there was a gap where that stamping was, where it went over off of that pattern paper stripe, that strip, and I didn't like the gap, so I thought it needed something to bring it to the edge of the page. So since I used one of those canvas flags in the upper left, I also pulled one down into the upper right. And then the last thing I'm going to do, well, I'm going to add the title, but then I'm also going to take care of that issue that there's red only in one place on the layout. So I'm using these decorative buttons. What collection is that from? We got those. They're My Mind's Eye Boy Crazy, and we got those in, I think I got them in the add-on kit for the March. Yeah, I think I got them in the add-on kit for March. So, or they came in the main kit for March, I think. I'm not sure. But I'm going to add red to each of my embellishment clusters, just using these flags so that the red that's in the bottom arrow there doesn't look like it's all out in left field somewhere. I'm going to erase my lines around my journaling, even though they didn't help at all. I mean, if you go and you look at my journaling when I turn this page around and show you the page, it's crooked. Look at it. It's crooked. So, and now I'm thinking about, like, do I need anything else? Do I want to add anything else? What am I going to, and I'm really thinking about the title because I knew I wanted to use Here's Looking at You. And then I decide, well, you have enough letters left on this black here, and I'm going to line them up. I have a glass tabletop, so underneath my craft mat there, that surface, there's a glass, how would you put it? So on top of that white IKEA tabletop, I actually have a sheet of glass, like it's a very heavy pane of glass. So I'm just lining up my letter stickers on the very edge of that, so that I can make sure that I have all of the letters I need to put the title on. And they don't stick. I mean, they come right off of the glass, so that works out well. So I'm just adding the letters that spell out Here's Looking at You, and realizing that I only had 2 capital L's and I used them both for William's name. So the L in looking is actually lowercase. So, ooh, I'm sorry about the phone. Hey guys, so sorry about that. I only had a minute left to narrate for this video and I didn't want to start over and the phone was ringing. It was my office phone and I had to get that. So I'm sorry about that. But so basically that's it. I don't really have a whole lot else to say other than just winding this up and showing you the pictures of the final layout. So there it is. As you can see, I added the red, I have the stars, I have my 3 embellishment clusters, but it's a very busy kind of layout with all the frames and stuff, but I think it works. I think that the picture and the story are still the main focus of the page, and I really like that glitz paper. It challenged me to look at paper in a different way because I didn't have the full 12 by 12. It sort of laid out where certain things had to go, and of course I could have cut that off, but I didn't. I liked the way it looked. So that is the layout for today, and I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and otherwise I'll see you next time. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.